One. We're live. Whoa, I timed that right.
Oh, wow. We're live. I'm Maddy.
I'm Ryan, and welcome to Insomniacs in the Morning.
That is definitely the name of our show.
It is. I'm also trying to. I just lost. Okay, there you are. Okay.
Insomniacs.
Sorry, but I have so many windows open that I couldn't find you again.
All right. Let's see if I can compose a tweet saying that the show is starting without accidentally confusing myself and opening 60 links and not being able to talk during it.
Yep.
I'm not going to be able to do it.
Do you like how we always start exactly at 9 o'clock?
I love that. That's one of my favorite things about the show. Is the fact that we always start exactly at 9 o'clock.
You know what's funny? I was writing about our adventures from when we were doing the Geno shoot and how you and I showed up exactly. Like we said we were supposed to meet at 1 o'clock, which we told everyone else that you and I wouldn't be there at 1 because we were telling ourselves at 1 o'clock, and you and I literally both pulled in at 1:37.
Okay, in our defense, for that entire 37 minutes before 1 o'clock, we were texting our castmates and being like, hey, so it's going to be later than 1. And also for like hours before. It was like 2 hours before 1, and you texted me and you were like, hey, so I'm not going to be there at 1. And I was like, okay, well then I guess I'm not going to leave now. I don't know.
What's really funny is that like I really wasn't that like behind. I was just like going to see my family or something. I don't know. You and I like don't know what time is. It's okay. It probably pisses everyone else off.
I go. And it definitely does bother people. I just kind of have to make friends with people who are okay with the fact that I'm late a lot of the time.
Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to turn you up here and
oh hey, do that.
Thingamajig. I'm not with it this morning. I was like I was just muttering shit into the microphone instead of doing what I needed to do.
You know,
about Chris Redfield being gay, so you're gonna get a nice message about that on the
what is there a reason for that? Like, what prompted all this Chris Redfield fantasizing?
Because it started in Resident Evil 6 because he has like this partner that he works with in Resident Evil 6, and they're like
you been replaying them or something, because you're talking about it like all week.
Yeah, I mean I go in and out with what I'm into for Resident Evil for the week, like, but like I don't know.
Every week of your life, you're like, which Resident Evil thing am I going to be into today?
If you play Resident Evil 6, you'll see what I'm saying, because it's like they get separated and like Piers dies and Chris is all like crying. He's like, the only one. I'm like, what is this? He never did this over Jill. So now I'm starting to wonder. So. And then like in Resident Evil Revelations 2, Claire references and she's like, tell Pierce to take care of him, and I'm like, what is happening?
I don't even know who Pierce is, but
yeah, well, it doesn't matter, he's dead, so I mean I guess
boyfriend who's invented for Resident Evil 6,
probably
the one I didn't play. Okay, I don't know if I'm
on board with this.
No, that's not. Oh, I'm on board with Chris being gay. That's fine. I just don't know if I'm on board with playing Resident Evil 6 just to see Chris being gay.
Well, we will just play it at some point together. That way it'll be way more fun for you.
Okay,
so
I'll play it.
I just assume all the Resident Evil characters are like bisexual.
They clearly are. But I don't know that those games are very good, and I feel like you're willing to forgive literally anything that happens.
I'm one of those fans. It's okay.
And we did X-Men last week. I don't know. Anyway, I guess one reason why you're thinking about Resident Evil this week is because we were thinking about making a video about it, because I'm visiting you in a couple weeks and we
we're okay. So
work.
Let's that's cool. Let's open this with announcements for once. What's up?
That was what I was trying to transition into, because it's already been 5 minutes, so we're not really
talking about whether or not Chris Redfield is gay. You're like, Ryan, we have to stay on time. I'm like, well, hold on. Which Resident Evil character is gay? Who's baiting who? And you're like,
I like how I just instantly was like, they're all gay. It's not even a question. I like how somebody did send us in a question, like seriously asking us if we thought Wesker was gay, and we were like, yeah, next question.
Oh my god. All right, so Maddie's coming to visit in a couple weeks, and we're gonna shoot a bunch of stuff that's not, well, I guess we are shooting Geno because stuff's gonna be there, but
yeah, we're gonna shoot Geno,
but that's not really anything. We're just getting some lines.
We just
no, we're actually almost there, but in the meantime there's gonna be some filler stuff that we're also gonna make. One being this idea that like we're gonna do like a comedy sketch that's Leon Kennedy and Jill Valentine.
I know my hair's getting really long for this.
No, you can put it back in a ponytail because she's got long hair now.
I know, but I don't know. When I originally had this idea, I had really short hair, and I was like, Ryan, we could do Jill and Leon cosplay again, and like make some dumb videos, or go to a con or something.
Well, I would have to wear a wig at this point because he doesn't definitely does not have red hair.
You've had a Leon wig for a long time. You have solved this problem. I have not. I never got a Jill wig, and every time I cosplayed Jill, I would just cut my hair. Or...
I sort of love that. Like, this is just going back to me being obsessed with Resident Evil again.
I know. I mean, that's why I don't know why I even questioned why you were talking to me about Resident Evil this week, but it was because we were talking about making a video series about Jill and Leon, who are not canonically friends, really.
No, I know, and I sort of like make fun of that in the script that I wrote too.
In the
Jill's
script,
like,
we're
"Who are you?"
Jill
Like,
and Leon hanging out, and we just have them hang out because those are the cosplays that we have.
Well, also, I like sort of wrote it so that they were like stationed there together, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, let's spoil the whole thing, honestly. Do you want to just do a dramatic rating of that?
No, we're not going to do that because we still have to edit it. And then I guess you and I haven't really talked about this, but we're probably going to shoot some more throwback theaters, either of like the old ConnectiCon videos.
I really want to do those. You want to go back further than that. You want to do like videos when we were kids, which I'm happy to do, but I just miss being able to watch
any of those yet.
The
so
ConnectiCon videos, like I just want to watch them, and they're not online anymore. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to pull all of them, which is a fun job.
Well, I have them too if you need.
So
them.
Okay, all of you, the listeners, tell us if you want to see some home videos, ConnectiCon videos, or if you would like to see dramatic readings of our
videos,
or dramatic readings of our bad writing and fanfic from when we were like 13, 14.
I mean, we could link to those old episodes. There's a previous podcast that Ryan and I did that was.
Those are. I don't think those are up anymore. I think those are down.
They're still up. I mean,
I guess I could put them up on Atomic Blue Productions, but they're like. I
googled them once and I could still find them, so I think they're like buried on a side page somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But Ryan and I did a podcast. We did 3 episodes of a podcast that no one listened to. So
I know people listened to the first one, but like then
by people, do you mean our 20 friends? Like it had a smaller viewership than this show, where we would read old stories that Ryan wrote. We actually never read anything I wrote because we didn't get that far.
No, that's because we spent way too long editing it, and that was my fault because I was like, Maddie, no, there has to be sound effects to the whole thing, and now we learned not to do that anymore. So
I think I don't know. I actually just don't think the show worked as a concept. Ryan and I argue about this constantly because Ryan really wants the show to come back.
Well, so we'll do one sometime, and you guys can let us know if you want to listen to us read bad writing and make fun of it, because that's something that we do without recording it.
I think our bad writing is really fucking funny.
I do too.
I don't think it's as funny as watching videos of us.
I mean, that's probably true.
Funnier.
I think you're totally right about that. So,
and I think that people are more willing to watch a video of us doing something terrible than listen to us read a story that's terrible.
I don't know. Well, I would if we did it.
Video is easier to. It's more interactive.
Well, I was gonna say that if we did it, I would actually film us reading it as opposed to just reading it into microphones.
That would probably help. And even on this show, you've been like, let's start reading stories on Insomniacs. And I'm like,
okay.
So
you're like, Ryan, you really need a new hobby is what you're saying.
Ryan just really wants everyone to hear the stories we wrote when we were 12. Because every single
the stories we wrote last week
is the best thing we've ever done, and we're not gonna try to do anything new. We're just gonna go back.
She keeps laughing. You're making a joke, but I literally sent you like 3 scripts in the past week.
Well, no, those are things you wrote now.
Yeah, but I'm constantly writing. I mean, so are you. That's literally your job. But
I know, but I'm not. Okay. Anyway, Ryan, I think it's great that we're making new stuff. I don't think we have to read stories that we wrote when we were 12, but if people want to hear them, they should let us know. I've made my stance clear.
Speaking of new, wait, hold on.
Funny videos of us, though. I would rather.
So speaking of like new stuff, though, Robot Nights. Like, so what's happening with that? Because
we passed $12,000. I mean, I said this already on the show last week. If we make it to 14K, I'm gonna probably chill out with asking people for more money, because after that point it doesn't really matter to me, but it would be really great to get to 14K on the crowdfund for my band's album. We're getting there. Today there's another match donor day, so if you want to have your donation matched, you can donate today. It'll be doubled, so that's pretty cool.
And I think there's a fancy email that went out with it.
There's a fancy email that went out yesterday. And I should do a fancy social media post about that. But yeah, I've been talking about that so
Fancy.
much that I don't want to talk about it a ton on here because
No, that's fine. I just was like, give us the update. So
yeah. So that's
because
that's
like as it was proven, there are some listeners that have emailed us and been like, where is this Robot Nights thing? So
well, you can go to Indiegogo.com and search for the Robot Nights, I guess, or you can look at my Twitter and
or
almost
Google.
every tweet I've posted ever is about this. So
yeah, right now it is.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say in my life. It's just this crowdfund. And everywhere I go,
No, that's not true.
Everyone I see
That is not
like,
true.
how's the crowdfund going? And I'm like, oh, it's fine.
You had something interesting happen on Friday. A certain
I?
concert. I like how you forgot already. Like,
well,
what the fuck?
It's been almost a week and so much has happened since then. But I did see Beyonce on Friday night.
Wait, hold on.
Cool.
Let's roll back. You're like, nothing interesting is happening in my life, but so much happened that you don't remember anything.
Nobody in my life is asking me about Beyonce.
Well, they should be.
Everyone be like, how was Beyonce? That is the question that everyone, and luckily you, should be asking me. And no one is.
Yeah, I actually don't know anything about this because you went to the concert and then I was at a...
You're the first person to even ask me about it. I have one friend who asked me about it in passing.
Well, tell me about it because I was like gone all weekend, so I didn't really have time to catch up. We can talk about that after.
We can. So Beyonce is doing the Formation World Tour and she's... it's like a 2-hour show that she's put together and it's completely structured and she's got like coordinated video and dances for every single song that happens and the order of every song. Like it's so much work that it's like overwhelming when you watch
it's like she's producing all of it herself.
Yep. And
that's insane.
I mean, I don't know. She's incredible. So there's this huge cube behind her. It's basically a rectangle and it's like an LED screen and it can turn around.
That's
pictures
fucking awesome, actually. That's really cool.
And it's like,
can you post that to your Twitter so everyone can see it?
Yeah, but there's a lot of videos of it that are way better than mine. So I've probably posted
just go to YouTube.
Yeah. But there's like an Instagram person who was there at the same time as us that Mink found after the fact. I went with my sister Mink and they took a lot of videos that were way better than mine. I was like, I should just post this person's videos. So I'll link to their stuff, I guess, and credit them. But so it could rotate around and it could also separate in the middle. And there would be people in there like doing stuff. Like there'd be like a woman doing aerials or like inside of this other cube inside the cube, like doing trapeze.
You know, I fucking love stage productions that have money.
So cool. And they shot out confetti at one point on the crowd, which is sweet.
And then you like danced around and you were like 12 again.
Man. It was so crowded. So we had really good seats. Like we spent a lot of money on this because it's Beyonce and I'm happy to give her my money. And
it sounds like she puts on a worthwhile show.
Oh yeah,
it was that money.
Once in a lifetime experience. I feel like she's one of, if not the greatest performer of our generation. So to me, I'm like, I get to see Beyonce actually in person and doing her thing. That's amazing to me.
And dancing because her dancing is fucking amazing.
She's so good, and her backup dancers are so good. It's incredible. So even just as a dance performance that you go to, it's just from that perspective, it's amazing. But it's also like this multimedia extravaganza where she has all these videos queued up that are like associated with the songs, and she played like videos of herself as a kid. Like
that's crazy. That's like our level of ridiculousness.
I know, she played like videos of herself as a child, and then she played like videos of her own daughter and like juxtaposed them and stuff.
That's adorable.
Like, adorable and like heartwarming and amazing, and the whole thing was like her being like, this is my life and these are the things that I go through. And I was like really blown away by the fact that she sort of decides which aspects of her private life and which aspects of I don't know, like what she wants to share and what she doesn't want to share, and like how she
that's incredibly badass too, because she doesn't really care about what she's sharing or what people want to see. She's like, really, this is what I'm gonna do.
I think she like specifically decides how she wants to craft that persona and is like, these are the things that I'm going to be completely emotionally honest about in my music. But also she's very she doesn't just talk to the media constantly about this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though she's completely open in, or seems to be completely open in her music, she manages to still be, still seem like a celebrity. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's such a hard balance to have. And obviously she's one of the most popular people in the world. She's figured it out. But like, I have so much respect for that, even as like, just this extremely small time person, just being like, wow, okay, so you have all the unique problems of like being a Black woman and one of the most popular women in the world, and like all these unique pressures are on you, and you're like, this is how you're handling it, and it's really, she's fucking amazing. I don't know. I have, if most of the Formation stuff is already over or sold out, but if it is coming to your city and you can buy a ticket still, then you should. And I know she's going to Europe soon. She's playing in like England and Switzerland and stuff. I think that hasn't happened yet. I think that's next. So I know we have overseas listeners, but people should check it out. It's such a cool show. It's so neat.
The only person I could compare it to is like Janelle Monáe, who I've seen live, and she does also like a ridiculous huge performance.
She
for
doesn't
her
have
persona.
as much money, so she doesn't have
and she doesn't have
cube, but she's so charismatic that she doesn't need a huge rotating cube.
I mean, you've seen her live too, right? Like,
I love her live.
She's like one of the best performers I've ever seen live. So
me too. I don't want to like even try to compare them because they're kind of different music. But
no,
like,
exactly. And also Janelle Monáe doesn't have like all the eyes on her that Beyonce does. So like
she can get away with saying more risky stuff, but I mean obviously Beyonce's an activist now, so she just does whatever she wants.
Now,
that wasn't
like as if she wasn't before.
Well, for the beginning of her career, she wasn't so much into activism, but now she definitely is. Janelle Monáe, I think, has always.
Hey, well, that was like the 90s, though.
I know, but
that's
I think
a long time ago.
Like, Beyonce has become more and more politically outspoken over the course of her career, which is great. But that definitely wasn't always what she was about. And I don't mind that at all. I will happily listen to pop music about going to the club. That's fine. It doesn't all have to be Formation, but you know, that stuff is great too. And I think it's really cool that she can do both. Anyway, I
agree.
So
I
many
totally agree.
things to say about that. And Janelle Monáe, you can see Janelle Monáe live, that's probably more accessible to you. It's probably a little cheaper of a ticket. Those tickets are great. You should definitely see her live as well.
We're just going to recommend a whole bunch of bands right now.
Yeah.
Welcome to Insomniacs and the band.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to talk about, you came to Massachusetts and I didn't get to see you, which was sad.
Okay, well,
I was busy.
I mean, as you know, but maybe our listeners don't. I don't know. I keep on talking about it. So I started my new vlog, The Weekend of X-Men Apocalypse, which has been sort of forcing me to go out and do new things every day and like live life to its fullest and be super adventurous and stuff like that. And that is definitely reflecting. And one of the things that happened was that this past weekend, I came up to see Steph and some friends. But like, you know, it's not just been just that. I've been everywhere. Like if you look at the things I posted, we've done like a ton of hikes. We've been to the beach. I went bowling. They had this whole like 90s, 80s night with Courtney, and we went bowling and went to the mall and, you know, stuff like that. So it's been sort of like, it's been really nice. And it's been really nice to sort of like stay positive because of like whenever I take out the camera to vlog when I'm out there, because you know that I run every day with the dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, even still, I'll be like, I'll get too much inside my own head. And then like what happens is that I have to take out the camera to film shit. So I'm not only looking at things from like sort of an artistic perspective to get the shot that I want, but I'm also like, it like, you know, takes me out. I'm like, oh, hello, like be here, be present, be positive
present in what's happening.
Yeah. And so like, that's been really, that's sort of like what I've been trying to get out of this is like to push myself out of my comfort zone and also to sort of be present and not miss things that are awesome. So I've done a ton of hikes. I went up to Massachusetts. I had a fun story when I was in Massachusetts and I went to hang out with Caro the day after I was at Steph's. And like we hung out for like 2 hours and it was really great. It was sort of like a throwback a little bit. She has a little rabbit that's adorable. Sudi, who is on the blog, and her other pet, BB-8, which is actually BB-8, rolls around. But so anyway, I was leaving there, and the night beforehand, Steph was like, Ryan, you need to read road signs because you like keep missing turns and things. She's like, are you blind? I'm like, no, I'm just not reading the road signs. And she's like, okay, that's even worse. Like, why aren't you reading them? And her point being,
how do you you find your way around if you don't read road signs?
Echolocation, like the dolphin.
Do you just remember kind of where you are and you're like,
no,
I
seriously look at geographical points, and that's how I get around. But so anyway,
Does that
so
work?
I'm getting onto the Mass Pike, right? And I'm like, whenever I head up to Massachusetts, I'm like east. I have to go east to get to Natick or whatever. So I was already in like Watertown. I was like east, so I drive. I'm like and I'm like, why does that look like the Boston Marriott? And I was like, oh fuck, right, you just drove yourself into Boston. So I had to like get off at the exit for the Prudential Center and turn around.
Oh,
No, this is a funny story. Don't feel bad. This is
I do feel bad because I've done way stupider things than that. That whatever. I'm not even gonna try to advise you.
No, it's okay. So that was a fun little story that happened to me.
That would happen to me too, because you would have to think about where you were, like you'd have to be like, should I go east or west? That's a mistake anybody could make.
No, I do that kind of shit all the time, but I really need to be more conscious about reading signs. But anyway, check out the vlog. It's on Follow the Sun vlog on YouTube.
You can watch Ryan get lost in real time. No, I'm just kidding. You didn't put that part in. That's
actually,
a good thing
I've been doing like more like music videos with interdispersed with like actual talking, but mostly, I
like how it is. But you can do whatever you want. It's your.
I know
vlog.
it's my thing.
Don't
it's like
change it though, because I like it. So
okay, well, whatever Maddy wants. So anyway,
I think it's good as it is, but people should check it out. They're like little music videos about Ryan's life, and they're very relaxing.
And also like trying to force me to do things, and I'm also open to suggestions. So it doesn't always have to be like Ryan's gonna go hike this mountain today. Like if somebody's like, you should try doing this thing, I'll do it. Like. I need suggestions. I write shit down. Yeah.
So workout tips?
Workout tips. Yeah.
You go first because I don't have one, and hopefully we'll think of one. I've been trying to think of one.
All right. Well, mine does not require a demonstration, but Ben and I were talking about this last night and how it's sort of important. Like this is an actual tip. This is like it's not like an exercise.
One I gave last week where I was like explaining a tip of how to run more.
Yeah. So it's sort of like that. So I think Ben uses 40-pound weights now. I'm still on 20s because I don't know. I'm a pussy. I have no idea.
No, it took me a really long time to level up in weights. And even when I worked out all the time, I think the highest I ever got was 30 for.
No, I use 30s sometimes, but I'm just really comfortable with 20s. But the point is that Ben's like, okay, so if you're working with 40s or 50s or whatever number that you are at right now to build your muscle, he's like, still start off your workout with like the 10s and the 20s, and then slowly move up to the one that you are working on, because by doing the smaller weights first, you are stretching out those muscles to get them ready to do the bigger weights. Yeah. Which is something I have not been doing, and I'm going to try doing that on my next workout. I've heard that before.
And the other thing I've heard is that you can do it on smaller level. Like, let's say you can only lift 10-pound weights. You lift those, you do 3 sets of those, and then for the 4th set, you do 12.5s or 15s. If you don't,
because like you're breaking it up, and it like.
Well, it's also like the last set. You're like, all right, now I'm gonna try to jump a weight class just for this last set because I'm already warmed up. So that's something you can do.
So now, if you feel like something's ripping or like a rubber band is snapping, you're gonna have to go to the hospital.
You say that every time, Ryan.
Yeah, okay. It's a really important workout tip. Don't hurt yourself.
Don't hurt yourself, and
just do some triceratops extensions.
Oh, nice. Okay. I guess I'll talk about interval training since I mentioned it last week and I didn't really explain what it is, but
you talked about it in terms of like running and jogging, but you can talk about it in like other sources of working out, I guess.
Like another example of it, I guess, is that if you do jumping jacks in between every weightlifting set that you do, that's apparently helpful because you're switching between cardio and weightlifting. Have you ever done that before? It's
yes.
Annoying. And
I mean, it's not that annoying. I sort of do that anyway, just because I need to break it up.
Here's what I think is more fun. And I have seen guys do this at the gym. Jump rope. Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
You do some jump rope?
No, I have jump rope right over here.
I think that's way more fun than jumping jacks because it makes me feel like I'm a kid.
I agree, but like I have to either be outside or like at a gym to do that because both of us live in apartments. So jumping for a really long time on the 3rd floor
is pretty big. My living room's pretty big, but I'm lucky. So if you
You're
don't,
also lighter than I'm assuming. So like when you jump, you probably don't shake the entire house.
I do actually.
Okay.
I have a workout video where you have to jump up and down a million times, and I just stopped doing it because I was like, the rest of my house is gonna kill me because I live in a 4 family, and like they don't want to hear me jumping. Like what? No.
You should get a trampoline, put it in your bedroom.
For a jump rope, I'm not jumping that high. It's just like a little jump.
A
But
little jump.
I don't know. I don't do a big jump. But
Okay.
for this workout video, they were like, jump as high as you can. Jump as high as you can, like 12 times. Have you ever done a video where they ask you to do that?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. It really happens a lot in like Zumba stuff.
Yeah, for this, it was actually a P90 video. There's plyometrics is one of the videos for P90X. And like most of that video is jumping in the air, like almost seemingly all of it. And the only time I did it, I was like, this is not gonna it's not gonna work for me. Not because I can't do it, but because
jumping. And in fact, while we're talking about interval training, while you're running or walking, finding things to jump over while you run, really great for you. I do that a lot.
Really fun too. So like, if you want to look like a weirdo running around town, just like start leaping across the sidewalk.
Or you could do what I do, which is trail running. So like, I do a lot of running and nobody's around. I'll like jump over a log or something, or some rocks, whatever.
Fun. Yeah, but you just got to be careful because obviously.
Yeah, I know, especially if you're out there like by yourself.
I know.
But it's fun because it always sort of like reminds me of like being 13 or a kid and like running around and jumping over shit, or just reminds me of being a Mirror's Edge. So I'm like, look how cool I am.
I actually don't really do that. The few times that I do run, I usually try to run at a place where there's going to be people.
Yeah.
Because I'm worried that I'll die and then no one will find me.
I mean, clearly I don't care about that. I'm like, well, I'm just going to run in the woods. Oh, so wait, hold on. So speaking of woods, yesterday I was doing a new place to check out for the vlog. And so Lyra and I went hiking at this place that I didn't really like it that much because the trails were really confusing. The map made no sense. And which that's got to be hard because I'm really good with it navigating trails like that. But like, so we had gotten really far into the woods and I heard a noise and I like stopped and I was like, Lyra, stop for a sec. So I'm listening and I hear like this yelping noise. I'm like, those are coyotes. We need to turn the fuck around. And not because I'm worried about coyotes, because I'm really not afraid of that shit. But Connecticut has this coy wolf problem. Have you heard about this?
I have.
Where like, there's like this breed of coyotes and wolves that have mixed together. And
they will try to attack Lyra and it would
they are actively like they just like waltz out into the street and attack people. So I was like, I don't know if those are coyotes or coyotes, but we are leaving. So I like quickly got us out of the woods as fast as possible because I mean,
that's a scary story.
I mean, sort of, but like to me, I'm like, we'll be calm, we'll get out of here. My priority at that point is the dog because like they will attack.
No, I know
the dog
would be more likely to attack her than you, I guess, and also she would try to defend you. It would be really
scary. So it just would be messy. So, but fun story. What you were like just talking about like dangerous situations in the woods. I'm like, well, here's one for
I was
you.
like, how did we get onto this dark topic? Okay, I don't even think I did a good job of explaining what interval training is, but I did explain it last week. Basically, it's like if you go really fast and then you go slow for a little while. And I think I screwed it up last week at first and realized it while I was saying it. But normally you're supposed to be doing like a shorter version of the fast and then a twice as long version of the slow, or at least that's mostly what most of the exercise books I've read have told me to do. So what I used to do when I had a treadmill or access to a treadmill was like run for 30 seconds, walk for a minute, run for 30 seconds, walk for a minute. And then sometimes people stack that. Like they run for 30 seconds, walk for a minute, run for 30 seconds. They do that 5 times and then they run for 45 seconds.
Well, I was reading that like doing like intervals of 30 seconds of running gives you more exercise than just running for like 30 minutes.
Yes, it does. And that's weird, but it's true.
No, that makes sense.
And because you're forcing yourself to elevate your heart rate again and then have it calm back down.
Right, because it's like all about your heart. Weights. It's not about like I mean,
it's like you're lifting the weight that is your heart. And you know how when you lift weights, you're supposed to take breaks? It's exactly the same thing.
I mean, the difference is that like if you run for 30 minutes, that at that point you're working on different muscles in your body, but it's not about the cardio so much.
Yeah, and it's good for endurance, but it's actually once you're running at that level where you can run for a full 30 minutes, it actually starts to become easier to run for an additional 10 minutes after that. Not in a bad way, but just like once your heart rate is already elevated and strong enough to maintain that level, you can just add another mile to your run with no problem, and your heart won't necessarily be worked out more. Your muscles might be, but your heart won't be. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know what you're talking about.
So if you want to work out your heart, and that's always what I want to do because I want to live forever, interval training is
we have
is
to
a
be
good way
vampires
do it.
like our parents, so.
Yeah. And also, I don't know that interval training, I used to care about weight loss. I so don't anymore. It's not a priority for me.
No, you should be worrying about your cardio and your muscle building and weight
That's
loss.
all I care about. So for me, interval training is good for my heart, and that's what I want. Because
I mean, you know that
I be breathless when I'm running up and down stairs. And when I'm doing interval training a lot, I could run up and down stairs. I could help people move. I could do all of that stuff without getting out of breath. And that was really, really great because it was like, you know how when you're helping people move, there's a lot of like, and let's run back up the stairs and get another box, and then you're slowly carrying the box. It's just interval training constantly. And that's
actually a really great example.
Yeah. So like, if you want to just be better at doing your daily life, interval training is your friend.
No, I agree. And you know that I trail run like all the time, but that's usually what I do. I don't actually run for the full 30 minutes. I think maybe once a week I'll do a longer session, but mostly I do what you do, which is just stopping. And it's good too, because I have the dog and she likes to stop and sniff things. So like when she wants to do that, that's usually when I like slow it down. So
I miss having a treadmill because it was so easy to keep track of that stuff, but I don't have a gym near me anymore. So I have to like actually do other things.
Well, luckily this is one of those things that you can do without like a gym, because you can go outside to do it and you don't need like weights or gym equipment to do it necessarily.
Yep. And if you already find your workout really annoying, interval training honestly makes it feel like it's going faster.
It really does.
You're constantly looking at your watch and you're like, the 30 seconds is almost up. I almost get to stop running and walk. And you're like excited to walk.
Also, like
walking and you're like relaxing.
If you're like outside running places, like, and this is why I suggest running places new, is because like you'll be running, you'll be enjoying it, but then you'll stop and do walking and you can look around and see, like, you can stop to look at cool things. So, you know, it's good for your brain also.
We got to keep going.
I know. We'll keep on talking about this. All right. So let's talk about like geek news. And it looks like we have lots of super...
Do you want to take some of this out? Because I don't know if we can cover all of it.
I don't really care about like any of this. So you tell me.
Well, I don't either.
Okay,
so we can skip all of it. John Boyega's in Pacific Rim 2. That's probably the coolest piece of news on here.
Yeah, I didn't really like Pacific Rim 1. Sorry.
Fine.
I think most people did. I think I never have ever been into any...
I wasn't as obsessed with it as everybody else.
No, but you know what though? I'm just so not interested in the whole mech thing, like ever. So like I've never been into Gundam. The closest I ever got was watching Big O. And mostly because I liked the main character, but I did not like any of the mech suit battles, which is funny because, you know, I did watch a ton of anime growing up. So you would think I would be sort of into it, but it just was never my jam. So
that's fair. I mean, I just think it's cool that he's getting work because I think John Boyega is a charisma machine.
I agree. Brie Larson.
Yeah,
Brie Larson is Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
They haven't announced it. Most people like it. I'm like, I feel like she needs to be older. Like,
I'm so with you. I'm like 110% with you on that.
It's not that she's like a bad
26.
actress, but she's so young, and I'm like,
she's such a good actress. She just won an Oscar. She's amazing, but she's
right.
Like
but like, I'm also like, when I think of Miss Marvel, even like when I was a kid, I always assumed she was in her 30s or 40s, and she was like this 30s. Really awesome like lieutenant in the army or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
She's supposed to be like at least 31 or something.
Yeah, and so I feel like Brie is too young for the role.
I do too. And a lot of people are like, I can't believe people are saying this. And it's like, well, it's the pattern. Like Scarlett Johansson's only 31 and people are like, she's getting a little old to be playing Black Widow. And I'm like,
oh
what?
My God.
I've seen people say shit.
Wait, when she started then, she was like in her early 20s.
She's 31 now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's that. And then Elizabeth Olsen, who's Scarlet Witch, is 27.
I know.
So
I know.
they're already way younger than all the guy actors in those movies. They're like in their 40s and 50s. Literally.
That's so fucked up.
It's
I'm
really
sorry.
messed up.
And it's like when I think of Miss Marvel too, I mean, you look at Brie, and I'm sure she could put on like some like more muscle, but
Totally.
I imagine like wrestler
That's the
status,
problem.
like
They're gonna hire like 1,000 personal trainers for her. I'm sure.
I know.
It's more the age thing where it's like older actresses in Hollywood already have so much trouble getting work, and it's like, well, I guess we're just gonna give this part to a 26-year-old who's up and coming, and that's cool. It's just like it's really sad that that's how things work.
Yeah, I agree. And also, like,
It's
I'm one of those people that like
have trouble getting excited about the movie to be thinking about it too.
That's true. But I also was like, I'm one of those people that was on this Katie Sackhoff train where people were like, Katie Sackhoff should play this role because, I mean, she looks exactly like the part, and she would be so good at it.
I don't know what happened with that. Maybe
Marvel just doesn't want to cast people that may actually be good for the roles. I don't know.
I don't either.
I mean, I guess that's not true because all the Avengers have been cast really well, considering like, like
I mean, I think they're great. I even like Brie Larson, and like
that's what I'm saying.
People to think that I don't. It's more just like it's too bad that it couldn't go to an older actress when this is like one of the only opportunities they have to do that.
I'm just gonna use this to transition to this other topic real quick, even though I don't really want to talk about that much. But Hayley Atwell not approving of Sharon Carter because again, that's fucking weird.
I wrote about this. I just thought it was really funny.
I think it's funny too.
Hayley Atwell. Because this is a Civil War spoiler. So skip ahead 10 seconds if you don't want to know this.
They already listened to our other ones, so whatever.
I don't know, Ryan. We get new viewers maybe for this episode for sure.
Okay, sure.
So Captain America and Sharon Carter start hooking it up in Civil War. They finally kiss each other, and I think they've been trying to set this up for a while. And like they're a couple in the comics, and it's less weird in the comics. Apparently, I don't know.
I don't know. This is sort of like the same way that I view the X-Men movies at this point, where I'm like, it's like, okay, so Sharon Carter is sort of the same role as Moira McTaggart.
Kind of, but it's so weird in the movie.
I know it's really weird. And the entire time I'm watching the movie, we're like, I thought Cap and Bucky were gonna make out. Like, what's happening?
That isn't necessarily the only problem. Although I know that's a problem a lot of people had. I had a problem with it because I was like, this doesn't make sense in the context of this specific movie.
Okay. And also,
like, that was sort of also Hayley Atwell's criticism because in the movie they go to Peggy Carter's funeral, and that's where Captain America discovers that Sharon Carter is related to Peggy Carter, and before that he didn't know that. And it's and at then he's the funeral, like, then suddenly he's like, this woman is now hotter to me now that I know she's related to my dead girlfriend. Like
that's so weird. That is so weird.
I hated it. I was like, he should be less attracted to her now. He should be like, this is weird, and why the fuck didn't she tell me? And like, what is happening? I think maybe I'll just be friends with this person who's like kind of like a sister-in-law to me or something almost. As opposed to, and like one of the reasons why it's different in the comics is because Peggy Carter and Steve aren't like, their relationship isn't as serious in the comics.
Right.
They date, but it's not a big deal. She's not the
I mean, like as any comic book relationship goes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like,
it's not, if they date for a little while, it's not a big deal. But in the movies, they set it up as like this epic romance. It's like so emotional. And then they've got Agent Carter season 1 is all about her getting over the fact that Steve has been frozen in ice, and she has this whole emotional arc.
Well, like, I mean, technically, I think she was supposed. I mean, if they went the comic book route, I think she was supposed to kill Captain America. I don't remember if it was the other way around or what.
Oh, like the original, like way decades ago.
No, like the Civil War that they wrote like in
that one
6 years ago.
I haven't read that one. I'm more familiar weirdly with the like super old comics at this point.
Well, that's fine. I mean, those are the best ones. So
well, Peggy Carter's an old character, and so is Sharon Carter. They're both like old school, like 60s and 70s Marvel.
No, I totally agree.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is that the movies have set up a world where Captain America dating Sharon Carter just never made any sense.
And it's also weird as fuck, but whatever.
It's really weird. And
he should be making out with Bucky.
Other girlfriends. Like, well, he should be making out with Bucky. But
I don't even ship those two. Like, I'm not into it, but I'm like, after watching that movie, I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, they probably should be making out right now.
Okay. So anyway, that's it for me. I don't know if you want to talk about any of this other stuff. I don't care.
I could just quickly say that I watched the World of Final Fantasy trailer last night, and like it's a word. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's like the same bullshit as every Final Fantasy game, where it's like, believe in your heart and friendship. Do you feel the power of around you? And like, except it involves like every Final Fantasy character except they're chibi sized.
That
But
sounds
it's like
more
also
like Kingdom Hearts than Final
I know, though, that's what
Fantasy.
people are comparing it to. So it's like super serious and like they're like, I don't know, like I don't know how to describe it. All I saw is that Quistis was there. She had lines, and they went to Balam Garden. And I was like, that's cool. What's happening?
Okay, I'll check it out. It sounds fun. Is
I
Mickey
mean,
Mouse there? Is Mickey Mouse like
I mean, maybe who knows? Like
the door to the light?
E3
Oh
is
my
coming up,
God.
so we're probably gonna get some announcements about like Kingdom Hearts 3 and Legend of Zelda and all that stuff
Thank
too.
goodness.
I love E3. That's like my favorite time of the year.
All right. Well,
I sit there, I'm like waiting for all the announcements, and I'm
we
like,
can
then I
talk
don't play the
about it on
game for
this
3
show.
years. But
We can
whatever.
talk about that on this show. Whatever bonkers
Whenever it does happen.
announcements.
All right, let's do a
Yeah.
throwback though, because I spent
Wishbone.
a
All right.
ridiculous amount of time.
What's
okay,
the
so
story, Wishbone? Okay,
what's
so
the story, Lyra?
I've been telling Ryan to watch Wishbone for pretty much my entire life because I don't know. I actually thought you had seen Wishbone.
I mean, I had, but it was like a long time ago, and I didn't
But
really
I was
watch it
like,
myself.
Wishbone's the greatest. Am I right, Ryan? It's so great. And you were like, yeah, it's fun.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's start by saying that you kept on going about Wishbone like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, we'll do it as the throwback eventually when we
And
have
I
time
was
to do
like,
it.
yeah, let's really do it. And you were like, why do you? Why
I was
do
like,
you
well,
wanna
what
do
is this? And so my sister watched it. I guess we should clarify this is a show that came out in 1995 that was about. I mean,
so I was like in fourth grade.
why
I
don't you
don't know.
describe it? Because you're more into it than I am. I'm actually into it
Okay.
now that I watched it.
There's sort of like multiple intersecting worlds. So
Right.
the thing that hooks you into this show is that there's a really cute dog on the show, and
Which-
the dog does really cute tricks.
He's
That-
actually not in it as much as you think he would be.
That's true. That's just the hook. The hook is that you think this is going to be a show about a cute dog.
Right.
When you start actually watching it and you realize that the show's mostly about the dog's owner, Joe, and his friends. And they're all like 12 or 13. I think they're supposed to be in middle school.
Yeah, something like that.
And so Joe has this dog, Wishbone, and Wishbone like can't speak to humans, but he can understand everything that humans say.
Mhm.
And so he has an inner monologue all the time, and there's a voice actor doing a voiceover to indicate Wishbone's inner monologue. So it's just like this live action dog with his live action owner, and the dog says sarcastic stuff in response to the things the owner does. It's kind of like a Garfield conceit.
Yeah.
And so that's mostly what the show is about, is like Joe having middle school social problems, and then Wishbone says sarcastic stuff. But then the second part of the show
That's the
also
second layer.
amazing is the fact that Wishbone, the dog, apparently likes to read classic literature. And every time Joe is going through some sort of problem at school, that will remind Wishbone of one of
Of
the
a
many
classic book.
books that this dog has read. And the dog will be like, that reminds me of Shakespeare's The Tempest.
And then it will
like,
fade into another
it will
story
fade
in
into
which
another
like
story, and it will show you actors portraying those roles, and Wishbone will be one of the actors who
in a
appears.
costume.
The little dog will wear an adorable costume. The little dog will be Sherlock Holmes and like
Right.
wear a little hat,
I know.
a little duster.
He's
and
super cute. He's a Jack Russell.
So cute. He's a Jack Russell Terrier, and this dog is the cutest dog you've ever seen. And he can do so many little tricks, and they've just, I don't know. And it's all practical effects. And I remember, I don't think any of this is available on YouTube, but when I was a kid, I loved this. At the end of every Wishbone, they would do a little explanation of how they did the practical effects.
Okay,
for that
yes,
episode.
actually that's still on there. So I wanted
That's
to
right.
let you
I
know
love
that
it.
the Wishbone, the actual show Wishbone, bought out a YouTube channel. So they have all the episodes available on YouTube. And it's just literally straight up the entire episode that they would have shown on PBS with the After Effects scenes.
And the After Effects scenes are so cool. And I remember I don't remember which episode it involved this, but it was a piece of fiction about war. And they explained how the bullets exploded. And my mind was like blown by that as a kid. Because I mean, of course I loved theater, but I was like, it's so neat to like not be scared of this anymore. And they
Right.
like explain explain to you like, okay, so here's how we're gonna have blood happen, and here's how we're gonna have like this gunshot go off, and here's how it's fake, and they like show you exactly how they did it, and all the actors are just amazing, and they have the same actors over and over doing.
Well, okay, so interesting thing about that is number one, this sounds like it's super goofy, but it's actually a serious drama because it's teaching kids to read, and like
it is teaching kids to read. And we did have somebody be like, "I'm so mad that Wishbone didn't actually read the books," and like. That's kind of bullshit, though, because Wishbone specifically only tells you about the first third of every book that he covers.
Right.
And it's supposed to inspire you to go read the rest of the book.
So you know how it ends.
I actually did in a lot of cases.
Yeah. And I think that was really interesting about it, too. And they had a lot of, like guest actors to do all these roles, which by the way, sometimes it's really funny. Like we were watching the episode last night with Amy Acker, who's been in a whole bunch of Joss Whedon stuff. But she was in one of them, and she was like having a serious conversation with Wishbone and like looking at him like,
Okay, so they have, like, I don't know which ones you watch. I know I sent you the Phantom of the Opera
one. Okay, well, we ended up watching like 10 of them last night because first, okay, Maddie was like, here, watch
to the Pride and Prejudice one where Wishbone is Mr. Darcy, and there's like this girl who's Elizabeth Bennet, and she's like seriously talking to a dog for
but this was happening in like the Jane something or another, not Jane Eyre, it was the other one.
Oh, okay, I don't know that.
So we were watching that, which by the way, this is funny because Maddie sent me this and I was explaining it to Ben. I was like, so we're going to be talking about this thing tomorrow. And then I was like, he was like, what is this? And so I made him put on an episode.
And then he was sucked in completely.
He really was. And then he was looking it up.
So good.
Well, Ben was watching it and he's like 35. So he's like, this is so smart. It's like, there's so many layers going. There's so many layers here. And then he was looking it up and it won a bunch of awards that like the Peabody Award and stuff. That's really hard to come by.
It deserves all of that. It deserves all of that because it's so clever. And like as a kid, I already loved reading. So sometimes I would have already read the books that they talked about and sometimes I wouldn't have. And like I was obsessed with this show. Like I just thought it was so cool that they were adapting these books that I was into and making them like funny and interesting because there's a dog there, which is funny. But
and it's also funny to see, like I like the one where Wishbone has like adopts like a human child, and I was like, this is so weird. And the human child is then like 18 years later. I'm like, okay, the dog wouldn't be alive.
You don't have, but
don't think about it. Don't think about it.
You just don't. So, like, imagine the pitching process for this show. I think the Toast did like a comedy article where they made fun of this, where they were like, "No, the dog is going to just be Raoul from Phantom of the Opera. No one will acknowledge that the dog is a man, and everyone within the framing story is fine with this, and like everybody within the framing story is apparently also fine with the fact that Wishbone reads a book. I mean,
whatever. I mean, I think it's a good hook. And honestly, from watching it from a filmmaker's perspective too, like it's incredibly clever. It's a clever way that they shot everything, number one. And then also it looks really professional for very little effects. And
I know.
I think that's so smart.
Practical effects, and like they actually had to train the dog to do those things. And...
Oh yeah, but so it's funny. I was talking to you about this, but I was like, it's really obvious that like they would bring the dog on set and do like half an hour of his shoot and then send the dog home because like it's a dog, like you can't make it do too much. So
and they probably took like a million breaks and
so they probably like did all the basic shots that they knew they needed Wishbone in and then sent him home, because then after that you don't like for a lot of the scenes with the kids and stuff, like they'll be talking and be like, they look down at the floor and then the shots of Wishbone, but then it goes back and you don't see Wishbone anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's done in a way that makes sense because they shoot it in a way that you wouldn't see him because he would be out of the shot.
Right, because he's dog-sized.
Right, so like for the most part, there's a lot of face shots and stuff like that, and it's a little trickier, I think, when they did like the story stuff because they actually were like, okay, Wishbone needs to stay in one place for a really long time. And I'm also sort of like,
that dog is so good at everything.
No, I agree, but I was also telling Ben, I'm like, I'm sure what they did is that they just did like a ton of just raw footage of the dog doing whatever the fuck he wants, and then they wrote some lines for him that would fit in with the episode.
Yeah, I mean,
depending on what he was doing.
Sometimes for the special effects, they did this less often, I think, because they really didn't want to ruin the illusion. But I remember there were some episodes where they were like, here's how we reused footage of Wishbone doing certain things and like put it into different scenes. And like they've taught the dog how to do these very specific tricks. Like a lot of times they do the one where he like sighs or appears to sigh and puts his head on his paws.
Oh, yeah.
That one is like a classic that they've taught this dog to do, and I'm sure there's like a command where they get him to do it, and like every time his owner does something annoying or like whatever, the dog is
like
all
puts
like,
his face
and it's like the cutest thing you've ever seen, and they use that all the time. And there's also a lot of like situations where he has to jump on top of something and then stand there.
It just like stand there.
Yeah, and like he's really good at like going to his mark essentially and standing there and like training a dog like you need to jump on this platform and then this platform and then stay there. Like that's incredible that they were able to teach this dog to do that. But it's like he's like in a play all the time. Like
right.
I don't know. Anyway, I feel like this is one of those situations where you literally need to see an episode of Wishbone before you even believe me that this is as good.
Okay, but like
as
that's
it
what
is.
happened to me because I was.
That's why I sent you the Phantom of the Opera one, because I love that episode and I think it's a good place to start.
I loved that because I watched it. I was like, wait, is this actually the story? Because this is not what I got from watching the musical, because I don't understand anything Andrew Lloyd Webber writes.
The musical is very confusing.
I mean, this is a little off topic, but Andrew Lloyd Webber, I'm glad that he made Broadway essentially happen, but like I cannot stand any of his stuff.
I know.
Because like it doesn't make any sense.
Glad about all the stuff that he's accomplished, but like cats. Okay.
I
anyway,
don't know.
We don't need to talk about that.
Okay, so going back to Wishbone though, this was in the
basically
90s.
Just recommending to people to watch it because I think it's so good. And
well, I think there's one other
you need to watch at least one.
There's this other piece that is not about the dog. It's about the actual actors on this. And this was a thing that was common in the 90s, was that they had a really great variety of characters. So like there was the son and his mom, who was a single mom, and which was
the next door neighbor
who I'm wondering if it's in a relationship maybe with the mom. I don't know.
I know, you kind of wonder
but then
that.
Don't worry, because Dean Winchester shows up and he's super young and he's
so
like,
Mary Ellen has tweeted at us like 60 times to point out that Dean Winchester has a cameo on Wishbone, so that's the most important part of the show. I don't know.
No, but like I think he's dating the mom, but it's not even really clear to me. And I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah,
how old is he supposed to be here? And how old is his mom? So,
I don't know, but his mom is kind of young on the show. Like
maybe he's not dating her. Maybe it's like somebody else that I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
I haven't seen this episode where he appears, so I'll have to check it out. I guess.
It's at the end of Viva Wishbone.
Okay.
But I had to look it up, and I watched the whole thing. And then also there's the little black kid, and he's like super smart, and like he creates like Joe inventions and stuff.
A white female friend and a black male friend, and we were like talking about how this is classic. Like this is like also on Ghost Rider, although Ghost Rider was even more diverse than that.
And also Power Rangers.
The girl is like so cool, and she was my favorite character as a kid. I just like we were talking about how like on every 90s show there'd be like this white male character who'd be the main character, but he would be the most boring character.
I know, it'd be like sort of dumb.
He would always have like a white female best friend and a black male best friend, and those two characters would be the coolest. And those would be the reason why you would watch the show, and then this other random white guy would keep being there. In this case, I think Joe is actually stand-in for Wishbone. Like, the reason why he's not even a real character is because Wishbone is the character.
Right, and also sort of like, it's a multi-layered thing going on, and obviously they couldn't just shoot Wishbone for hours because of what I said before. Like, it would have worked.
They needed to have Joe be there. I don't remember the other two kids' names. They have cute names.
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them. I can't remember. I don't even remember. Like, I keep on forgetting Joe's name. So clearly, like, I'm just more interested in the dog.
I can remember his name is Joe, but I can.
But let me. I guess to bring it full circle, you can kind of say that this is a show that you can watch both as a kid and as an adult and appreciate. And even though it was made 20 years ago, as somebody that really wasn't into it, because I didn't really watch it, my sister did. Ben and I, who are in our 30s, sat down and marathoned a whole bunch of episodes last night.
So good,
and we liked it. It was really good.
I remember my mom actually genuinely liked Wishbone when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I was like, I don't think my mom really likes it. I think she's just like playing along. But in retrospect, I think my mom really did like the show.
I mean, I think your mom really liked it. Like, she probably really liked She-Ra and Xena. She's like, these are really great influences for my children because I think they're awesome.
Okay, but she didn't always sit down with me and like watch She-Ra and Xena. With Wishbone, she'd be like, let's watch it. Sit down and watch it. Like,
I hope your mom listens to the show because this is great.
Anyway, my
watch
mom was
Wishbone.
busy taking care of the household, but everybody has time for Wishbone.
Want
to
do some reader mail?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do
we
some
only have a
reader
couple things.
mail. That's probably for the best because we have to go already.
I know I think we're making good time considering we started at like 9:20. So
we started at 9:11. We did okay today.
Okay. So Taylor emailed us, and he's always emailing us and sending us great questions. So he said, "Hi, Maddy and Ryan. Watching a friend play through Gone Home almost made me cry, even though I've played it twice before. Is there a book, movie, or song that will make you cry every time? Love the podcast, Taylor."
Oh man, Never Ending Story.
There are okay. I'm going to preface this as like a thing. This isn't like a man thing, I promise, but I don't usually cry over things, and it's only because I don't like to, and I feel like it's a waste of energy, and I hate that.
I actually really try not to cry. I don't know why, but
I really don't, because like
sometimes I do, but I'm not that into it.
I know, it's just you kind of don't feel great afterwards. Some people are like, "I'm glad I have that great cry. I feel better." I'm like, I feel worse, so I'm not going to do that again.
If I watch something and cry, usually it's like it doesn't feel good to me.
There are only two things that I can think of that really got me like to cry a bunch, and like that's weird for me, and they're both children's things.
That's fine. I literally just said Never Ending Story. Dude.
Well, that was dark. Well, this is pretty dark too. So
I don't think it makes me cry every time. I'm definitely not going to be able to satisfy this person's answer.
So
if I cry once at something, that's kind of it for me.
There's Toy Story 3, the whole last 20 minutes of that movie. I have not watched it since the first time I watched it.
Because that you're going to say the first 10 minutes of Up, because holy shit.
No, I actually didn't. I'm okay. Everyone's going to send me hate mail for this, but I just was not into Up. I just was like
not into it. I thought that movie was so sad. It disturbed me.
I thought that it was weird that I liked the first 10 minutes of the movie that everybody really likes and says super sad.
Story. I don't care if you don't like Up. Talk about something you like.
So the last 20 minutes of Toy Story, when because I was really into Toy Story when I was a kid. So
the incinerator and they all hold hands.
Oh yeah, and you really think they're gonna die, but then they're saved by the machines with the claw, and they're like, the claw, and you're like, oh my god. But then that whole thing where Andy brings the toys to that little girl at the end, and I'm already sobbing through that, and then he finds Woody at the bottom, and he's like, this one's mine, and she's reaching for it, and she's like, my cowboy, and then he's like, this is a really important toy, and then he gives it to her, and I was like, I can never watch this again. I'm crying so hard.
I know. Oh my god, you're right. I forgot about that scene.
Yeah, so I have not watched this since the first time I saw Toy Story 3, because I've never been a sobbing mess like that.
I know.
Ever.
I was crying in the theater, and I was like, these are toys.
I know. It's a really dark movie. Okay, so there's one other thing I want to talk about, because I know that you probably didn't cry over this, but for whatever reason, it really hit me hard. So I was watching Steven Universe, and you know how
I've
the
cried
first
over those before.
Well, okay, so you know how the first 30 episodes are you're learning about everybody in the town. All the Steven Universe's episodes sort of follow that pattern of they start off goofy but take a dark, serious turn somewhere in the middle. So the episodes where that was it Paradox coming and
yeah.
That okay.
Up, by the way.
Okay, so all right, so there's a scene where or it's a series of scenes. So first Steven's talking to the mayor, and he's the mayor's what do I do? He's you got to evacuate, dude. This thing's going to come and destroy Beach City. And so then Steven goes back to his house where the gems are packing up his stuff. And he's I'm ready to fight. But he sees them packing up their stuff, and nobody knows what to tell him. And Garnet manages to convince him to leave because they think that they're all going to die or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're terrified of this alien invasion that's about to happen. So the thing that really broke me is that the next shot is all the cars caravaning, all the characters you just came to know and love over the past 30 years or 30 episodes are all leaving the city, and they're all saying goodbye to their city, and they're all terrified, and everything's dark and gritty. And that whole scene with Steven and his dad and Greg just sitting there not answering Steven's questions. Steven's what's going on? And Steven sort of figures out all the shit that that he's an alien and all this stuff like that, and figures out that his mom was this warlord alien that protected Earth, and Greg is freaking out because Steven's I need to go back. He's begging his dad, and Greg's I can't, I know I have to let you go, but if you go, you might die, and I might lose my only son, and also Rose, and all that whole complicated scene. I was I was I couldn't deal. So I mean, That's a really heavy scene, though. Like,
I know, and
because
there's a lot
that's also
of
the turning
moments
point of the
like
whole
that.
series, but Steven sort of like he stops being a kid at that point. He's like, because he's sort of super like kiddish, and then after that, he sort of like deals with all of these new
sort
complicated.
of watching him grow up and like
it was just, but that. I mean, also I love Greg, so like seeing.
I love Greg so much.
Like,
I love that show.
He's such an emotional dude. I love it. So those are the two things that come to my mind. And you said Up, I guess.
But I mean every Pixar movie, honestly, like
I know
they all make me cry. It's not.
I didn't cry over
I think I cried at Brave. I think
Inside Out, but that was a really good one
I
too.
haven't seen Inside Out.
Inside Out will probably make you cry because I was like definitely like, oh, if I cried more, I'd definitely be crying right now.
Yeah, like, okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Also, the end of The Little Mermaid makes me cry usually.
That's just like a throwback there.
That's like a happy cry because Triton like realizes that his daughter's only going to be happy if he lets her be human. And
well, that's good because Triton's an asshole.
He is an asshole for that whole movie, and then at the end he's like, all right, and I'm like, oh, he's being accepting. It's just, I don't know. Anything with family, clearly we both are like, oh my god, he's being accepted. Anyway,
also they were all kids. There's like nothing in there that was like really like a heavy adult thing. We're like all these children's movies and TV
I think
shows.
that's part of it because like adult stuff, I don't know. I don't even watch adult stuff.
Adult stuff I feel like is not as smart as like a lot of kids stuff, but
it's not. I don't cry at stuff like Apocalypse Now or whatever. I've never even I don't know. That
I don't
stuff
know.
Is serious and great, but it doesn't make me cry. I don't know why. Anyway,
I hope that answers your question, Taylor.
It doesn't.
Well, we came up with more answers than I thought we would. So
yeah, especially since you were like, I never cry. Here's 10 things I've cried at.
I was like 2 things. I was like, there's only 2 things, and I know them because whenever I think about them, I'm like, damn, that was like.
And then Toy Story 3 and Steven Universe, are those your 2 things?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Mary Ellen also emailed us and said, "Hey guys, still not available to watch the show this morning. I wasn't like expecting you to schedule around me, but it would have been nice to offer." I'm writing because I'd really like to know your thoughts on all the recent developments in the 2016 presidential election. Just kidding. She says, just kidding. Fuck the election. What I'd really like to ask is, now that Civil War and X-Men have come out, what other summer movies are you guys looking forward to? Also, if you could be, I was going to say Ghostbusters. Also, if you could be any X-Men, who would you be? Jensen Ackles was on Wishbone. Love, Mary Ellen.
We did talk about Jensen Ackles being on Wishbone. I forgot his name is Jensen Ackles, but his name's Jensen Ackles.
We finally remembered.
AKA Dean Winchester.
Also, Maddie and I are gonna go see Ghostbusters 3 together. We've already made a plan.
Did you just call it Ghostbusters 3? It's just called Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, well it's the 3rd one, so
I know, but it's not Ghostbusters 3, right?
It's the best Ghostbusters though.
We don't even know that yet.
I'm just assuming because there's girls.
It does look pretty good. All right, whatever. Controversially, we're gonna go see Ghostbusters.
I guess. What was the other question? Something about X-Men. Which
X-Men would we be? We would both be Jean Grey.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't think I would want to be one of the X-Men because I either want to hang out with them or have sex with them.
I think I would want to literally be the Dark Phoenix so that I could destroy the world with cleansing fire. I think I would want to be her. That sounds great, honestly. I want to have infinite power.
I guess. I don't know.
Which power would you want? How about that? Do you have a power that you want?
Probably flight or telekinesis. So I guess still Jean Grey or Archangel, most likely.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I also want to
Psylocke if you want.
Yeah, I was gonna say because if I was Psylocke, then I could be a ninja and have telekinesis and stuff, and also bone Archangel.
That's true, but you couldn't fly, so you'd have to kind of weigh the options there.
Well, whoever I am, I better be having sex with Wolverine. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my god, yeah. That's why I'm picking Dark Phoenix, because then I get to cleanse the world with fire, but also have sex with Wolverine potentially.
Yep. All right, recipe time. Yeah, I like how we're like, now that we talked about sex, let's talk about food. I mean, that does work. It does,
Now that we've had sex with Wolverine, let's have a snack.
All right. So Skye's recipe corner. Okay, Tuesday was primary day in California, so I figured whether preparing to hide in an attic for years or getting ready to sneak out of the country, it's a good time to talk about food that lasts forever. In this case, it's hardtack. I don't know what hardtack is. Maybe you do, but she's about to describe it. So Hardtack is just flour, salt, and water. Wow, Ryan, if I just read the next line.
You're like, I don't know what it is. And I refuse to read the rest of this email. It's like crackers. It's crackers, basically.
Yeah, 3 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of salt, 1 cup of water, preheat oven to 375, mix salt and flour into a bowl, introduce water while kneading until dough no longer sticks to your hands. Roll the dough out until it's less than half an inch thick, cut into squares like you're making a tic-tac-toe board, and use a fork to perforate the crackers so they'll be easier to break apart after baking because they'll be hard as rock. Bake on an ungreased cookie sheet for 30 minutes on either side, 1 hour total, and you're done. Keep them dry and they can last for years. Yay! The apocalypse. Joke of the week. Why did I should not do that. Got to take a breather before doing Skye's joke because I'm going to fuck it up. Why did the Overwatch player have a hard time getting along with their team? Because she was a real diva. I'm Mako Fury, hashtag 1Y96 on PC. I can't read all. Oh, she's okay. She wants you to play with her on the PC and the PS4, and I'm going to put that into the YouTube link.
Okay, Skye, because DM me your handle.
Because it's like I would have to spell out all this shit.
Yeah. Just send me the email then, and I'll add Skye to my list. That's fine. Yeah, I've been playing Overwatch a little bit.
I still have to get it.
I have it for the PC. I don't have it for anything else.
I'm probably gonna get it for the PC too because I think Kara just got it for the PC.
It's also only like $30. It's not that expensive.
Do you have any food that lasts forever that you'll eat?
Ryan, do you remember years ago when we did a panel about how to survive the zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, and I fucked it up.
And Ryan was like, get non-perishable food like apples. And we made fun of you for years, and I feel kind of bad for that.
No, you shouldn't. Actually, you know what's really funny is that I've been watching Last Man on Earth, and they have to eat a lot of stuff that's like been canned food because like nothing's growing anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's what I would go with is like soups and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, I like chicken noodle soup. I can eat that over and over.
Also, I'm pretty sure like if a Cheese Whiz lasts forever because I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's not cheese.
It's not food. I don't like it
either. I didn't even want to suggest it. I just remember this one time I was with one of my friends and she was like, I have had this Cheese Whiz and there's no expiration date on it. Like she's like, it's not cheese if it doesn't expire.
Okay.
So I don't know, canned soup.
I always have soup in my kitchen.
Yeah, me too.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. What else did we recommend on that panel? Oh, beans.
Beans,
rice and beans.
Canned food, rice.
I still eat rice and beans.
What else did we only have 3 things? We're like, you better get ready for eat all this shit.
I think we actually recommended a lot of other stuff. We had a whole list of things we recommended, and we like talked about all this zombie stuff. This was the nerdiest panel we ever did.
It had a huge turnout. We didn't think it would be. I was late to it because I was doing another event at the same time.
And like showed up late and you were like, oh hey, it was during that phase where you just showed up. We don't need to talk about our personal lives.
That was funny too because we were like, we're all gonna dress up as Resident Evil characters, but I didn't have time to change, so I just waltzed in late as Dr. Horrible.
I don't think I dressed up. I think we just
took you were Jill
completely seriously. Was I? I thought
Jess was the merchant, or maybe you were Ashley Graham. I think we were supposed to do a Resident Evil 4 thing, and then like I didn't do it, even though it was my idea.
All right. Well, this is a great story about how we were dicks to each other when we were kids, and Ryan blew off this important panel that we had. But anyway, I don't remember everything we talked about on the panel. I remember that I was in charge of science.
Was crackers on there? No, crackers go stale too.
Well, apparently Skye's recipe for crackers.
Well, those are like flour to crackers, so I guess if they're made of that. But I mean,
I think we just said soup.
Pretty much. If the world did come to a zombie apocalypse, I mean, there would still be.
Definitely will after this election. That's
definitely
happening as a zombie apocalypse.
I mean, I'm just gonna. Leon better be. I don't know. Leon better save me and make out with me. That's all I gotta say.
I hope so. I really hope so.
And Chris Redfield, apparently, because we're gonna bring this show for a full circle right now.
Yeah. Okay. Are we done? I think we're done.
I think so. We just were like canned beans and soup.
Yeah.
Get ready to eat a lot of that this upcoming year.
Do you like refried beans, or what kind of beans do you like? We can at least recommend that. I like black beans.
I like black beans and refried beans, but there's also stuff like
you like refried beans.
Oh, you could get like chickpeas and stuff because those are all canned.
That's true.
Which have a ton of protein in them. So like that will be super important until you run out of canned chickpeas.
Seriously trying to help people. We're like, well, get chickpeas and get beans. Get.
Technically, you could probably grow your own stuff too. Okay, so just for a fun fact, you can do like your own raised bed in an indoor location during the zombie apocalypse and get unopened packages of seeds.
Yeah.
And why didn't we think about that?
I think we did. Look, this was years ago, and I think we prepared everything. And I think we did actually tell people to bring seeds with them. Also,
if you can get access to like any of those, like I think they're called MRE things that the army has. Like we have a vegetarian one just because we're like, this is awesome. We'll have one just in case the apocalypse happens.
I'm glad you and Ben are prepared. It seems likelier all the time.
Well, I won't tell the story right now, but remind me next week. There was that blizzard that happened in Connecticut, and we had to quickly escape. And the way quickly we did it, we did it like within half an hour that we've had to figure that we had to go. And we're like, okay, what do we pack? And we took all the essentials and we had a fish at the time. And we grabbed the fish and left. And Ben and I were like really proud of ourselves. We're like, well, if the apocalypse does happen, at least we have an escape plan. Like we mapped it out and everything. So, because there was no power. So like all the traffic lights didn't work either. So people were just like fucking colliding into each other.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So
that's what the world's going to be like. Anyway, on that note.
Anyway, we'll be doing this show for 2 more months and then the world's going to end. So
yeah, so enjoy it while you can. And until then, you can subscribe here to our channel on
YouTube. Yeah, and also subscribe to our podcast that's on iTunes. And if you don't have iTunes, you can get it at atomicblueproductions.com because that's a website.
There's an RSS feed there where you can subscribe to the audio-only version of this show, which is edited by me. And it doesn't even sound that bad.
And then there's our home base, which is our channel, Atomic Blue Productions. That's where
Ryan puts up little short versions of this show that are actually good. So
and also any other shit that we make, because it's basically our channel to make shit and put stuff on. And you can follow. You should subscribe over there because that's where all the shit's gonna go that we're gonna make in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you can follow Blue Productions on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram. And Maddy and I are on Twitter also at Dr. Yoshi 2 and
Psalmist Clone. And Ryan's Follow the Sun vlog is another thing that you can follow.
Yeah, Robot Nights, Indiegogo. I know. Yeah. There's all sorts of things you can follow. We're really cool, right?
We're everywhere.
I need to wake the fuck up. Okay, I feel like I'm not awake yet.
You're probably not.
I'm just gonna.
I have to go.
I'm gonna take the elevator out of here. Bye.